I went on the forums and the message boards and asked, what would your dream sewing machine look like? And here are some of the responses that I got. Hello, my name is Cherie, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a live, and I won't be responding to your live chat comments directly, verbally. However, what I will do is respond to your comments in the chat. A number of you would like to see a modern day Singer Featherweight or Kenmore 3/4 size machine. You would like this type of machine to be able to take with you to retreats and other special occasions where you can't travel with a lot. Some years ago, AlphaSew came out with a replica Singer Featherweight machine, but it was nowhere near the quality of the original Singer Featherweight. Also, I noticed that many of you still purchase Singer Featherweights and 3/4 size Kenmore machines in the secondhand market, and these machines fetch for a lot of money in spite of being 40 years and older. So I think that it would be a wonderful idea for these sewing machine companies to come out with a modern day version of the 3/4 size Kenmore or the Singer Featherweight. This modern day machine would need to have some modern amenities on it in addition to the features that were on the vintage machines. It would do wonderful if the small machine could have a electronic foot control with a needle up down function program to it, just to make it easier to pivot when you are piecing and doing other things. It would also be nice if this machine could have a zigzag on it. However, I do understand that you can put very few features inside of a chassis that is that small. The third thing that would be wonderful to have on a modern day small machine would be additional lighting, just lighting all the way across the inside so that you can see what projects that you are working on without needing to bring additional lighting. I'd like to go ahead and tell you about the second thing that a lot of folks wish for in a dream sewing machine. But before I do, please do take the time to subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell to receive updates. Also, give this video a thumbs up as it helps the video to get circulated around YouTube so that more people can see it and I can get paid, y'all. Many would like to see a Juki TL series sewing machine, except with a zigzag stitch and a free arm included. I sort of think that that is a lofty idea to have, and allow me to explain why. In the vintage era, you had the Singer 301A, and people still seek this machine out because it has a beautiful straight stitch. Later on, Singer produced the 401A, and the 401A offered the straight stitch, the zigzag, and it also had a port where you could include design cams for making decorative stitches. That machine makes a nice straight stitch too, but the straight stitch does not look as good as the straight stitch of the 301A, because once you introduce zigzag to the needle bar, then that needle bar has some play and the straight stitch just doesn't align as narrowly as it does when the machine does straight stitch and straight stitch only. And I think the same thing would apply to the Juki TL series as well, because once you introduce zigzag, then you're probably not going to get as beautiful of a straight stitch as you would if you just left the machine alone. Now, when it comes to having a free arm on the machine, I definitely understand why that would be beneficial, as I am primarily a garment maker. However, I have to try to have a little bit of common sense about this as well. And it makes me think about the vintage Viking 21A. The Viking 21A is still a highly sought after machine in spite of its age, because it is a free arm machine with a whopping 1.5 amp motor on it. The Viking 21A does prove that you can fit a larger domestic machine motor into a free arm machine. However, the Juki TL series machine motor differs slightly from the Viking 21A in that it is a brushless motor. And when you have a brushless motor, that means that it can operate at higher speeds and with more torque. And those two things mean that you need bigger components in order for that machine to operate without breaking. And I am unsure as to whether or not you would be able to fit those bigger rods and bigger components into a free arm on the machine. But then again, I am not an engineer. One person mentioned a dream feature that they would like to see in a sewing machine. However, I do not know if this dream could be attainable, but I do think that it is a good idea. They wanted to see the air threading and the auto tension components brought to the home sewing machine instead of it just being a feature available on sergers and cover stitch machines. Auto tension would eliminate a lot of headaches, but the air threading component may be impossible on a standard sewing machine. The reason why I say that is because on a serger, the lower loopers are the only thing that get air threaded. The upper thread, the two needles in the upper thread, you have to thread yourself because the air threading function does not work for the needles. So if you apply the same concept to the sewing machine, you may be able to air thread your bobbin case, but that's really not something that's truly needed because once you lower your needle, the thread from the bobbin automatically comes up. So it wouldn't truly make a lot of sense to have a air threading component on a general sewing machine. However, it would make much more sense to have auto tension on the machine. And I believe that that could be doable via some computerized components. The only way to truly simplify the threading process on a home sewing machine would be to have the bobbin that winds in place, like the Singer touch and sews of the 1960s and 70s. Those machines, you just stuck the bobbin in the machine and you could press a little button and it would wind inside of the machine. That feature was very finicky and fiddly, and a lot of people complained about it, so it was discontinued. However, I do think that if brought back into machines today, that feature could be refined to work a lot better. And also, people complained that the touch and sew bobbins held much less thread. However, you could make it a jumbo bobbin like the jumbo bobbins of today so that you could have a ton of thread on each bobbin winding session so that you would need to wind the bobbin far less. Now, do sewing machine companies have an incentive to actually make a modern version of the touch and sew bobbin winding? I don't think so, because with that system, you don't need to purchase as many bobbins because you just leave one bobbin in the machine, and when it's empty, you just wind it right in the machine and never have to worry about buying so many bobbins. And that might be a downside for the sewing machine companies who would not be able to make as much money from that feature. However, it would be a wonderful thing on the side of the sewist because the sewist would never have to pull the bobbins out to wind them. The downside to having the wind in place is that you have to stop sewing in order to wind the bobbin. And that is why a lot of modern day machines have the bobbin winder with a separate motor so the bobbin can be winding while you are sewing with a different bobbin thread. If a sewing machine company was going to produce your dream sewing machine, what would that machine look like? Please let me know down in the comment section below if you're watching this on the replay. And I thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.